you pay attention to the show, you've heard us talk about motion in the Browns and how they were one of the offenses that used it the least, and the guys that use it the most seem to be the most successful. Time to take a video analysis film breakdown of Kevin Stefanski and how the Browns use motion. Whenever we do that, we welcome in Lance Reisland from the Plain Dealer, cleveland.com. Lance, the trend in the NFL is to use more motion. Doesn't necessarily mean it has to be the exact same kind of motion is one of the things you've been telling me.
Yeah, there's two different philosophies, and there's different ways to look at it. But what Stefanski does is they do a lot of shifts, and they do a lot of pre-snap stuff, and they do a lot of personnel groups, and there's different ways to look at it. But the new motion, the McVays, the McDaniels, the Shanahans, they use a lot of this fast motion. You heard the cheetah motion with McDaniel, with Tyreek Hill, and there's just a lot of different ways to do things. The bottom line with the motion is you're trying to declare coverage, you're trying to create a numbers advantage, you're trying to create leverage. So regardless of what the motion is, they all have basically the same responsibility or the same, goal in mind, and that's to create those things for an offense. So Stefanski, I think, has always been a guy who likes to learn and will try new things. And I think Dickerson being added to the staff will do that because of his time with McVay out in L.A. But Stefanski does a really good job. It's subtle motion, but there's a purpose to it on down a distance, and I really like what he does.
All right, let's take a look at the first clip, and you're telling us this is something to pay attention to here.
So you're going to see motion here. So third down, he does a really good job. His third down stuff and his red zone stuff are some of my favorite, not because he's a Browns guy, because I watch a lot of film and I really like it. So you're going to see Cooper go in motion. What the Bears are going to do is the Bears are going to show a cover 2 pre-snap. And Flacco is a veteran guy, he understands that. So what the motion does, it makes them declare. So you're going to see it by the 40-yard line. You're going to see Tyreek Stevenson in the corner. He's going to bump out. He's the guy who makes the tackle. And Brisker's going to move up and take Njoku. Now, Flacco knows it's cover 1 because the other safety, Jackson's going to move up. Now, what this does with motion is that because Stevenson has to bump out and take Cooper, right, he's already too deep. Njoku will take away the underneath coverage, and Cooper's wide open. So by motioning, it told Flacco it was man coverage. Very simple, subtle motion, but it told him it was man coverage. They run a stack, so it would be hard to press, and Cooper gets an easy completion for a first down. So it doesn't look like much, but it shows Flacco what the coverage is. And that's kind of the first thing in motion when you talk about what quarterbacks want is, tell me what the coverage is, and this is what this motion does here on this easy third down pickup.
And, if you take it a step further, a lot of times, Lance, the Browns or any game plan will say, if we have this guy in man-to-man coverage, we like that matchup. And so, again, it goes to getting the ball to guys that can do things where you want them as well. Take us through this next clip, another motion in what you see here.
Well, so obviously, Njoku had a big game against the Jets. He started playing well. This is kind of when he got really hot. So the Jets put Sauce Gardner on him. And you're going to see him go in motion. He's going to stack. And what that does, with the motion, because Flacco, again, knows it's man coverage, they run a out route or a blaze out route with more up top. And what that does, what the motion did on this, again, not the tricky kind of the motion everybody likes nowadays. It just tells the quarterback what coverage it is. Because Sauce Gardner's not running with Njoku unless it's man coverage. Now, what Flacco understands, even though Reed's a good cover guy, is that Moore's a very good route runner, especially in the red zone. And it's very hard for a corner with this reduced split to cover all that sideline. So Moore does a great job of running routes, and this is just about impossible for even a good corner to cover because there's so much space. But again, Flacco knew he had the space because of the motion from Njoku, which gave the Browns man coverage and resulted in an easy touchdown. So once again, a little smash combination. High-low, easy read, easy throw for Flacco.
So, again, that's kind of declares coverage. It tells the quarterback where he wants to go with the ball. All right, the next couple of clips, take us through what these are telling some different things that motion can do.
So this play's got a lot to it, lot of fun here, a lot of guys doing the right thing. So David Bell's going to come in motion. As David Bell comes in motion, it takes him from 1 strong to now 3 strong inside. Now, what the Jaguars are going to do when it goes back is the Jaguars are going to cover Njoku on the quick out man coverage. Now, what teams like to do is they like to run a bracket coverage, and the Browns end up in a bunch. And when you end up in a bunch, the corner, Williams, he's supposed to take the first guy outside. And then inside, the first guy who releases inside, Jenkins is supposed to cover. Call it bracket coverage or banjo coverage. Everybody runs it from high school to pro. But what happens with the motion, even though it's not a lot, it tricks, it fools those guys, it confuses those guys, and both Williams and Jenkins jump Elijah Moore, who's going to be the guy who comes across first. David Bell sees that, he's going to trail, and you're going to see both guys jump Elijah Moore, and Bell just sits right there. And with the motion, the reason that happened is because the motion knew. Now, another thing that's really cool about this play is that the Jaguars bring 7. And by bringing 7, Flacco knows the middle guy is going to be blocked, and he has to retreat to his right so he can beat Wingard before he gets there. Because they can't block 7, they can only block 6. So just a really cool play, a well-coached play. The subtle motion bringing him from outside to inside, confused who had who with Williams and Jenkins. And that's all you need in the NFL is just one mistake, and it ends up in an easy touchdown for Bell.
Yeah, again, you mentioned all the guys that did their job there, and motion creates the mismatch there. Can do it in the run game, too. Take us through this next clip, what you see here.
So again, Browns are going to motion to a bunch here now. One of their classic plays, they do it a bunch of different ways from the gun and one under. It's just a pin and pull play. So they're going to block down with the outside guy. A lot of times it's the Njoku. It's been a receiver before. It's been, DPJ when he was here. It's been all the tight ends. Bryant's kind of their move guy. And what it does is that they're going from a 2-by-2 formation, motioning to a bunch formation, which gives them an extra hat over there. So simply, you're going to see the point guy block down a defensive end, and then they get 2 blockers out in front. The Browns do a really good job. Bryant does this a lot. The receivers do it a lot. This is also the thing you can see now with the new O-line coach Dickerson, because not only is motion one of the big things that McVay and all these guys use, but they use receivers almost as linemen and tight ends in their blocking schemes. And this is something you can see from the Browns moving forward too. This condensed formation, get to the edge, get extra hats. But again, very subtle motion, just across the formation that gives you an extra hat. Now you're in a 3-by-1. So again, simple. Stefanski does a great job with this, and their run game is always really, really good.
Yeah, you mentioned that, when you mention wide receivers blocking in the run game, Cedric Tillman pops out because we saw him even as a rookie in that scheme with some really nice job blocking. All right, take us through this last clip, what you see here.
All right, it's one of my favorites here. So this is a cover 2 look from the Texans. This is the opening play of the game. What I like about this is the motion means absolutely nothing if you don't like football. So David Bell's going to go from the outside, and he's going to motion down in. Now, as he motions down in, he was originally covered by Nelson. Nelson, with the motion, will now move down, and he's got Cooper. But when he moves down onto Cooper, he's still outside. So the motion created leverage for Cooper. Now, the safety, Ward gets caught because of Bell's motion to think it's a run game because it's first down. So not only does Bell coming down inside, but the Browns also pull Wyatt Teller from the right side. So you're going to see Wyatt Teller pull, bring him down, and it looks like a run play. Now, Jimmy Ward, that safety, he gets his feet caught in mud, we call it. And basically what that means is he does not backpedal. So Nelson, who has been leveraged by motion, and Ward, who bites on the run fake, Nelson doesn't have help, and he gets beat over the top. So that subtle motion to make it look like a run play, added with Teller pulling, created this play on the opening play. And this is really good stuff, really subtle, but this is all set up by that motion inside. Created everything simply by moving Bell outside to inside and adding an extra blocker.